The first leg of any journey is the hardest, isn't it? It doesn't matter if you're crossing continents or starting a new project or learning something new. There is always an initial burst of energy that takes you from excited anticipation to that first tentative step. And once you've taken that step, there's no turning back. You're committed and you have to push forward. In today's video, we're going to explore the experience of the Oregon Trail immigrants as they embarked on one of the most epic journeys in American history. We'll learn about their motivations, preparations, and the challenging journey they faced. Hello, friends. Welcome to this channel where we bring history to life. Now let's begin. Now let's go back to the early 1800s. America was changing rapidly. More people were living in cities. Manufacturing was growing, and many Americans felt crowded. As westward expansion continued, new lands opened up and people started looking for new opportunities. The idea of Oregon Territory became very popular amongst the American settlers. Located in the Pacific Northwest, Oregon was a vast and largely unexplored region that promised adventure, opportunity, and a chance for a fresh start. For many Eastern Americans, life had become crowded and expensive. In the bustling cities of the East, factories were belching smoke, streets were jammed with people, and jobs were scarce. There was also a lot of competition for land and resources, so people started looking west. Then news began to spread about the breathtaking beauty of the Willamette Valley, a lush region in what is now Oregon. People talked about how there were rolling hills covered with fertile soil and clear streams everywhere. This valley was like a magnet, drawing people towards it. As more and more people heard about the Willamette Valley, they wanted to head west. Between 1841 and 1869, nearly 400,000 pioneers set out from the Missouri River to reach the Willamette Valley. Of course, there were already Native Americans living in the area for generations, but white Americans were just pouring in now. The journey to Oregon was a very difficult one. People had to travel thousands of miles on foot or by wagon over rough terrain. They faced harsh weather conditions, dangerous animals, and the risk of disease. Many of them did not have enough food or supplies, and some even starved on the journey. It was an incredibly challenging journey. But despite all the difficulties, people kept coming. Why? Well, the main reason was the promise of free land. In those days, the government was giving away huge tracts of land in the Oregon Territory to anyone who was willing to settle there. This was a very attractive offer for people who were struggling financially or who were looking for a better life. The Oregon Territory was also much less populated than the eastern states. So there was plenty of room for everyone, and people wouldn't have to compete with others for jobs or resources. This made it a very appealing destination for people who were feeling suffocated by the crowds and competition of the East. In addition to the promise of free land and a better quality of life, Oregon also offered economic opportunities. With so much land available for farming and resource extraction, the possibilities seemed endless. Many people saw this as a chance to build a better life for themselves and their families, to become landowners, and create a prosperous future. For many, the lure of gold was particularly strong. Reports of gold discoveries in Oregon sparked a mining rush, and many people headed there in search of fortune. Finally, there was the sense of adventure that came with exploring the American frontier. For many people, the journey to Oregon was an exciting opportunity to see new places and experience the thrill of discovery. This was especially true for young people who were eager to make their own way in the world and leave their mark on the American wilderness. Now that we know why they went, let's talk about how they prepared. First off, they had to get ready to spend months on the road. This meant packing food, supplies, and equipment that could last for many weeks or even months. They also needed sturdy wagons to transport their belongings and strong oxen to pull them. It was essential to choose the right time of year to start the journey, usually in the spring when the weather was milder and the ground was less muddy. They planned their route carefully, making sure they had enough food and water along the way. Once everything was packed and organized, the time had come to say goodbye to their families and friends. This was an emotional moment for many, as they knew they might not see their loved ones for months. With a mix of excitement and trepidation, they joined other travelers who were also heading west. Together, they formed wagon trains for safety and support. Leaders were chosen to help make decisions and solve problems that arose during the journey. And finally, they turned their wagons toward the west and began their journey on the Oregon Trail. They traveled for hours each day, sometimes walking alongside the wagon. When the weather was good, they set up camp in the evenings and cooked meals over open fires. They told stories and sang songs to pass the time and keep their spirits up. Life on the trail was tough and lonely, but they had each other for support. Along the way, they encountered challenges such as broken wagons, illness, and dangerous animals. But they worked together to overcome these obstacles and help each other through tough times. They also had to deal with the emotional toll of the journey, the homesickness, the fear of the unknown, and the uncertainty of what lay ahead. But they persevered, driven by their desire for a better life in Oregon. After months of hard travel, they finally saw the Willamette Valley in the distance. It was everything they had dreamed of and more. They had made it. It completed one of the greatest journeys in American history. And now, they could start their new lives in Oregon. The Oregon Trail was truly an epic journey that tested the limits of human endurance and determination. These pioneers were not only seeking a new life for themselves, but also building a foundation for future generations of Americans. Their journey is a reminder of the incredible spirit of adventure and exploration that has always been a part of the American character. So what do you think? How would you have handled the journey? What would have motivated you to leave your home and travel so far into the wilderness? What challenges do you think you would face on the trail, and how would you overcome them? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new about the Oregon Trail. If you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos about amazing historical events. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. If you love history, you'll love our podcast. Each week, we bring you new episodes about amazing history. Our podcast is the perfect way to learn something new while you're on the go. Just search for us in your favorite podcast app, and you can listen to us anywhere, anytime. Would you like to know more about the Oregon Trail? Here are some books to get you started. The Oregon Trail by R.A. Montgomery. This book is a classic for a reason. It's an exciting adventure story that follows a young boy named Caleb as he travels with his family on the Oregon Trail. Along the way, they face all the challenges of the trail, from dangerous animals to illness and starvation. But they also meet interesting characters and learn about the Native Americans who lived in the area. The Watsons Go to Birmingham, -1963, by Christopher Paul Curtis. This new Barry Award-winning novel tells the story of a black family from Michigan who travels to Birmingham, Alabama in 1963 to visit relatives. On the way, they meet a traveling minister who tells them stories about the past and teaches them important lessons about racism and family. This is a powerful and moving story that will stay with you long after you finish reading it. Across the Wide and Lonesome Prairie by William W. Turner. This is a beautifully written story about a young pioneer woman named Eliza, as she travels with her family from Missouri to Oregon. Along the way, she experiences all the wonders and hardships of the trail, from the beautiful scenery to the dangerous animals and the constant threat of disease. This is a great book for readers who enjoy historical fiction with strong female characters.